and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on your game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA is not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at UCLA. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at HuskerFanTravel.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today. Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it, Ticket Weeknights. Still with you here, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll bring you some replays throughout the course of the night, but we're live for the next hour or so. Of course, talking some Husker football. Mondays at 6 is the Husker Football Hour. I'm Austin Norman. More importantly, we're joined by Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Really, truly appreciate everything Allo does for us here at the station. You want to be a part of the show, you can. 402-464-5685. We will take your texts or comments all show long. Without further ado, let's bring him in. Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. Tom, I saw you earlier today, the Matt Rule press conference. We'll get to that in just a minute. I did not know it was an anniversary for you. Happy 34 years at the World Herald, sir.
How about that? Yeah, when I got here, I said, I love college football. I love Big 8 football. I said, my plan is to be here like 2 years, and then I'm going to go somewhere else. And thank God I was wrong. It's been I met my partner in life, my beautiful wife in Omaha at Polly's, and we somehow she married me, and we had beautiful daughters, and I've had the greatest life ever. Nebraska readers are the best readers in the country, and they're passionate about it. Everything. Is I get to write college football year round. I mean, it's unbelievable. So it's a job I've always wanted, and I'm not done yet. It still beats working.
No kidding about that. Well, of course, Tom, you were visiting your old stomping grounds just a few days ago. Nebraska, of course, took on Cincinnati down at Arrowhead Stadium. We'll get to your conversation with Troy Dannon here in just a minute, but take us back to Wednesday, Thursday, the aftermath on Friday. How was the Nebraska football in Kansas City experience?
Well, it's great. We didn't go till Thursday, and in hindsight, we probably should have left before noon. And we had noon, 3-hour drive, and we get there. We were able to check into our hotel and then go to the stadium about 4:30, and all will be well. And I've driven that thing before for Nebraska games, and I have never seen it like that. I don't understand why that happened. I just don't. Unless it was, I remember a couple of times going to Lincoln where the traffic was, and for a couple of games, maybe Colorado last year, maybe one down, some other game when they played Michigan or somebody, where I think people just went to the Lincoln to just hang out. They weren't going to the game. Not that many people could fit into the stadium. It was just, a parking lot on I-80. So I think this might have been the case here. It sounded like the parking lots at Arrowhead were full or were getting full. And they opened the gates early. Instead of 3:30, they opened them at 2:45 because people were tailgating in line, on the highway. They're just, So I think a lot of people were already there by that time. So I don't, we're sitting there, St. Joe, around 4:30, and it's still a crawl. I'm going, can't believe all these people are going. I realized this place was Nebraska. There were Husker flags and logos, and some guys had artwork of Tom Osborne on their van, and it's just everybody. I think the whole state was there, and so they couldn't have all been going to the game. So if they were all going to be late. So it was. I've never seen it like that before. I'm not sure why it was this time, other than people are hungry for Nebraska football season to start and to them to win. And there's probably more Chiefs fans now up here who love Arrowhead. I'm not sure why it was that crazy. There was a little construction, but that wasn't the reason. So anyway, we got there. The easiest part of the drive was when we got to the stadiums on I-70. You come off 435, you loop around, and you're kind of come out and merge with I-70 right at Royal Stadium, where you see the big crown scoreboard, and that was pretty easy. We kind of drove right in, and this is like 4:30 or 5. It's just like, okay, I didn't expect this either. So we found our parking lot and got our pass. It was very efficient. Everything. The Chiefs have it down to a science. They did everything right. Wonderful press box. Wonderful night. Good game. Lots to write about. Not much time to write. I actually like it when I have a half an hour to write as opposed to 4 hours. So 4 hours is a torture for me. I take the whole 4 hours and then I hate what I wrote. So when I don't have time to think about it, always seems to go better. Maybe I can't remember what I wrote. Maybe that helps too. But yeah, it's just one of those nights you always remember. The fans, the crowd, of course, Mahomes, Kelsey's fiance was there. All kinds of stuff was going on, and it was a hell of a game.
Indeed, it was. Nebraska ends up winning it by 3 over Cincinnati, 20-17. Let's just stick on that for a minute here, Tom, before we talk about your conversation with Troy Dannon. Your impressions from the first time you got to see 2025 Nebraska football in live action. It's a win for the Huskers. What'd you like? What'd you not like about the Huskers' win over Cincinnati?
Well, I like the win. I haven't had many wins in openers, especially against that caliber team. It was very important to start the season, whatever happens this year. Very important to start with a win. You lose, and all of a sudden, all the old ghosts and all the bugaboos are still hovering around everybody, and it just becomes harder. I liked the playmakers. I liked the special teams. I realized they weren't perfect, but they were solid. And solid beats not solid. Solid beats special teams that don't help, don't do anything. In fact, they actually hurt. I'll take solid. And I think, there were certainly issues, defensive line, some things that got to be tightened up. Offensive line was, the run game I thought was pretty good. I think it's going to get better. I think everything I saw, I think, is going to get better. So I thought it was a good night. I thought there's a lot of potential here and a lot of room for improvement, but I think it's going to get better. However, Austin, I don't think this has the look of a great team. I think it could be a very good team if everything breaks right and they stay healthy and they get the offensive line going. They keep Emmett Johnson healthy. But the playmakers at receivers, we kind of saw that last year early. But these guys, I think, are certainly a different level. Hunter, especially, really liked Hunter and Key. Defensively, I don't know that we know what they have. I don't know that we need to know it right now anyway. I think it's gonna take a while. So because nobody thought this summer that this was going to be a lights out defense. Well, nobody knew. Well, they're replacing Ty and Nash. I mean, what do we got? Well, I don't know. We'll find out. We think they're pretty good, but we'll find out. Well, we found out, and I think also they're facing a quarterback that they're not going to face very often in the Big Ten, and they've got a new coordinator. You're going to have new guys out there. You're going to have guys who are going to be in the wrong place, the wrong time. And it's just everybody, you watch football all weekend, there were a lot of mistakes. The college football is a game of mistakes. And then teams that clean them up and learn from them and don't repeat them are the ones who are going to win the most games. So I still feel good about everything. I think they're going to improve. I think they're going to improve in a hurry this weekend. I just think it's they need to get set on a defense, and Matt Rule said today that defensively they need to play faster. But they were, they were. I forget the phrase he used.
They played hard, but they need to play faster.
Yes, so I agree. And playing faster means you know what you're doing. And they may not know what they're doing yet. So that'll be man. They've got 3 defensive coordinators. I mean, Matt Rule is a defensive guy. John Butler is in charge, and Phil Snow is like the old Salt up in the press box or wherever he at. I mean, he's a defensive He's Matt Rule's defensive coordinator. I mean, so all these guys know what they're doing. They've just got to make it so the players can do it quickly. And so that may be simplifying things. But what I like about it, people were down on the pass rush, and I thought the new Missouri kid was really good. Again, a lot of potential to get better. I think that it's going to help having the secondary be a strength, because they will lock down the back, and that gives John Butler chances to do more things up front, take chances, maybe send more people. You don't need to get too exotic, but you got to find a way to get pressure on the quarterback a hell of a lot more than they got last week. So, but again, the guy's mobile, and they went up tempo, and they didn't know how to react to it. Hadn't been doing much in practice, so a little bit of a hiccup there. They really should have expected some of that, but again, I think I like the fact that and who made the play at the end, the secondary. So it's like a security blanket back there. I like that. They got to get better up front.
I don't know what you heard from fans, in your inbox, or what your colleagues got, but when I was doing post game here, Tom, we got a lot of, I don't know if anger is the right word, but certainly frustration and disappointment. And we even had one caller say he was madder than a hornet at how Nebraska played. It was embarrassing. It's not what he had been led to believe. Do you think that was maybe Husker fans underrating Cincinnati? Was it maybe getting carried away with a little bit too much Nebraska Kool-Aid in the offseason? Because I didn't see anything that Nebraska should be embarrassed by, nothing that's going to sink their season, certainly stuff that needs to improve. But even if that's not a world-beating Cincinnati team, that's a solid team, about at Nebraska's level, and I liked Matt Rule's quote today. He expects every game to be 17-16, right? So he's not disappointed when Nebraska wins a game. No, Cincinnati's not world beaters, but I think the anger, the frustration, the disappointment from fans, that struck me as a little out of touch and misplaced.
Absolutely. Overestimating Nebraska because people are in a hurry. They're in a hurry, and Matt Rule's third year is always great. Well, his third year at Baylor included 5 games where they wanted the buzzer. They made a kick, they blocked a kick, they won 2 in overtime. I mean, this is how he went 11-3. So, it could have been 7-7 or 7-6 or whatever. But I'm saying they got this narrative out there, which is ridiculous. They had the easy schedule. Hell, people think they have an easy schedule because they play Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska's never done anything. They've proven nothing over last year. So they beat Colorado. That was a great night, but they've got a lot to prove, and so nothing's easy. And for a team that hasn't been to one bowl in 8 years, so no, it's never easy. And Cincinnati, they know how to play, and they've got a quarterback. So I agree with that. It's frustrating because it felt like Nebraska was on the verge of. Especially the way they I like the way, Rule called timeout on that Cincinnati's last drive of the first half, stop the clock. They get a stop, they get the ball back, they go down and score. It was a good time management moment. Looked like Nebraska was going to control it, come out at the second half with the ball. And I feel like they could have dropped the hammer there. They didn't. And, one of my buddies in Kansas City walked by in the fourth quarter, and he goes, it's like they're setting up for another heartbreak. And I go, I know. Everybody's kind of nervous. Well, how are they going to figure out a way to lose this one? So I'm sure that was part of the anger.
But they found a way to win it for the second straight time. I mean, Boston College wasn't exactly pretty either, but, that's now 2 games in a row, Tom, that Nebraska's closed out a 1-score game. And
you should be happy. People should be ecstatic to win an opener and have a great weekend. It's just the way people are. And, I get emails, and they're usually angry. I don't hear from the people who aren't angry. The people that are happy. So usually when they win, I don't get any emails. But I got a couple. Boy, I was really disappointed. Offensive line, I thought they're going to dominate. Well, why? Why would you think that? Because we didn't know anything about this offensive line. We didn't know anything about the receivers or the the defensive line or anything. We didn't know about the kickers. Who's this kicker? We didn't even, we didn't know anything about these guys. Everybody loved the punter. Well, we did see him punt. We did. He did a good job. I mean, it was feel like people are so anxious for this thing to be back. And let me tell you, it ain't ever going to come back. Back is the wrong word. There ain't no going back. Can't whatever. You can't have those days again. It's a different era. It's a different everything now. I mean, look at Alabama. I mean, look what revenue sharing and NIL has done to them. I mean, Kalen DeBoer, I mean, nobody's Saban. He's a pretty good coach. But I was struck watching Bama, Florida State. I was saying, wow, what happened to Alabama's roster? They used to have dudes. They used to have up and down the offensive defensive line. They used to crush people. And then they had giant running backs and receivers who were going to go in the first round of the NFL draft. I didn't see any of that stuff. I think it's just everybody's, it's a tougher deal. But Nebraska needs to reinvent itself a little bit and reinvent winning a little bit. They need to start over and find a new future, a new way of winning, a new day. And so I think there's some people that just are anxious and have had enough and they're ready to go. And so, well, we're all ready to go, but this year is going to be, every week's going to be, these next 2 weeks should be like that. Start in Michigan. I mean, should people think Maryland is going to be a walkover? I mean, they look pretty good or okay. I mean, these things are never easy. So, again, I love them. These fans are great, and but yeah, you kind of have to, when the reaction comes in, man, you got to wear a helmet. You got to wear pads and a helmet, and just kind of let it bounce off you.
I'm thinking what I'm hearing is that you want a happy email once in a while too, not just the negative stuff. So, listeners, email Tom after Nebraska wins. And be positive, right? He'd love to read that in his inbox for a change. You did have a chance to talk with Troy Dannon earlier today, Tom, who, in the spirit of back, isn't necessarily rushing Nebraska back to Kansas City, but sure didn't take it off the table.
No, I think what he said was that they would love to go back if they're asked. But there are a couple conditions. 7 home games is the baseline. They have to have 7 home games. If it's a year with 7, they're not going to do it unless one of their road games, one of their opponents says, yeah, why don't we move our game to Arrowhead? Like Cincinnati did for the money. Cincinnati apparently got up to around $6 million for the deal for Nebraska fans selling it out, which was like double what they usually get. Nebraska gets 10, but Nebraska would do it. There's an 8th home game. They have 8 home games. I think they would do it because it was so much fun, and it's good for recruiting. It's good for Nebraska presence in that area. And, well, lo and behold, 2 years from now, they have 8 home games. So 27. So you might see one of those non-conference games in Arrowhead. We'll see.
And I think just to point out for fans, it does go back and forth, right? So Nebraska, in terms of the schedule, they alternate years where they get 5 Big Ten home games versus 4 Big Ten home games. Then it comes down to the non-conference schedule, who Nebraska's playing, how many of those are scheduled for home games as well. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the show. We'll get more into what Matt Rule had to say earlier today at his press conference. A few interesting nuggets in there. And Nebraska volleyball back from the brink. We'll talk about that and more on the Husker Football Hour with Tom Shatel. Sometimes it's hard to know if substance use is becoming a problem, especially when it becomes part of daily life or social routines. Take the free assessment, Is Your Substance Use Harmful, at myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com, so you can understand your risk. You can take the assessment anonymously. In just minutes, you'll get practical, non-judgmental guidance and resources to support your health and well-being. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at UCLA in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at huskerfantravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a hotel in scenic Santa Monica, an exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on your game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA is not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at UCLA. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at huskerfantravel.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in season? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rolling right along here, Husker Football Hour, 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Moss Norman, joined on our Allo Fiber VIP line by Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. Pretty standard Matt Rule Monday today, Tom. I think the thing that I'm going to guess caught the attention of most people was Matt Rule's comments about the running back position, especially the backups, right? Only 1 carry each for Isaiah Mosey and Mekhi Nelson. Matt Rule said if it was up to him, he was disappointed in the balance. Those other guys didn't get more reps. But then he said, that's not my call. I want to empower my coordinators, in this case, Dana Holgerson, to coordinate to be the coach. Once Dana said, nope, I'm comfortable with Emmett. He's in a rhythm. He's on a roll. He's getting the rock. Matt Rule said he was good with it. Kind of your takeaways from Emmett Johnson's performance and hearing from Matt Rule about the two spots behind Emmett Johnson.
Yeah, I heard some comments about that. Oh boy, this guy's he got hit hard, man. He's going to get beat up. Well, he's a starting running back. He should get the ball that much, and he's going to get beat up. But that's what happens to running backs. They all get hit hard. I mean, and if you have a guy like that, you want him to get the ball as much as possible. So, I don't really want him to get those other guys' experience, but it turned out to be a game where it wasn't a depth game. It wasn't one of those built depth games like this Saturday. Hopefully, will be. It was a game that they had to win, and you put those other guys in there, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. I mean, are they going to fumble? Are they going to when they get hit hard? I mean, Daniel Holgerson knows what he's got with Emmett Johnson, and they had to win that game. So to me, it was about circumstances, not necessarily about not wanting to play anybody else. It was, when they played Michigan and he's of Minnesota, they're going to play Emmett Johnson, and so right now they got to figure out who a lot of these guys are, but they know what they got at running back. And I really appreciate what he did. Because let's face it, Dan Holgerson is the head coach of the offense. I mean, he's got that kind of cachet where, you don't necessarily, maybe you would have told Marcus Satterfield, but you're not going to. Holgerson's got a little different, background and resume. So he's going to be in charge, and then that's what you want, and you trust him to do those things. So, I was fine with it. It's a game against Power 4. You have to win. Yeah, you're going to play one guy, and you're going to hopefully he's going to take care of you. So, I didn't have a problem with any of that.
The other place where there was a pretty consistent battle throughout the game for snaps playing time was left tackle. Nebraska played all three guys that were listed on the depth chart as or. Matt Rule did not come out and make a decision today, but he did say that Nebraska is not going to be able to have a three-man rotation at that position for long. Tom, how important is it for Nebraska to identify who their guy is, the dude at left tackle, as soon as possible?
I think that's the case, and I think defensive line, that's the case. I think maybe another, right now we saw, the kickoff, they changed a little bit a couple of times. I think the next 2 weeks are when you're going to get everybody, everything's going to be set. I think we're going to see different people playing the next 2 weeks. And then you go into Michigan, okay, here's what we got. And I think a lot of the roles will be defined by then. So, but yeah, I mean, again, not knowing, we don't watch practice. We don't get to see everything. We talked with Donovan Raiola once. So nobody really knew what they had, or have an offensive, at left tackle. And so they're trying to figure that out. And fortunately, there was a false start on the 1 yard line. That that I'm sure is going to go against the. Will be a mark, negative. But I thought they did. I thought they did okay. I really did. I just thought offensively, it just needs to get better. Everything needs to get better. And I also think Holgerson in the first game is trying to not to show too much, but he's trying to find things that are going to work. And so that's what we had. But I'm always worried. I don't like the depth chart to say or. To me, I don't care how good they are. or it means you don't have the guy. It means you have 2 or 3 guys, you don't know who the guy is. I like knowing who the guy is. So hopefully they will get that straightened out these next 2 weeks.
You mentioned that false start on Elijah Pritchett. We heard from Matt Rule that was an issue, the procedural stuff that was holding him back throughout fall camp. Tom, I get all the conversation around the false start. Clearly that can't happen. That's something that Nebraska needs to clean up. But just as disappointing as the false start in my mind is Nebraska not being able to punch it in from 6 yards out. I mean, yes, you like 4 cracks from the 1 foot line instead of 4 cracks from the 6. But man, if Nebraska can't, move enough man to get the ball in the end zone from 6 yards away, that's its own kind of issue too.
Yeah, it's although they went for 3 and they went for 4th and 2 and then scored a touchdown. So that was good to see. Yeah, I mean, but again, the first game, you want it to be a lot better. And I tell you, watching the first half of Ohio State, Texas was ugly. And I know that the defenses were good, but you had people going for 4th down, midfield, and all this stuff. It just, nothing seemed to be working. So I kind of write it off a little bit, like, okay, first game, a lot of new faces, don't know really what we got. But, I also go back, Austin, I think this is probably going to be a good team. Probably got a chance to be a very good team. I don't think it'll be a great team. So I think in a lot of places, you kind of got what you got. So they got to make what they got better. And I think they will. I think it'll look a lot better these next 2 weeks, as it should. And then you get Michigan coming in, and, that's when the playmakers have to make plays. That's when Dylan has to be Dylan. Receivers have to go above and beyond. And Mitch Johnson's got to put people on his back, and the defensive line's got to, that quarterback will drive him nuts too, in terms of being mobile, and you just can't get gashed like that again with up tempo. So it might be an opener that serves the season well if they learn from a lot of this stuff and they get things sorted out with who's going to play. Much like volleyball yesterday. Volleyball, I don't want to change the subject here, but volleyball yesterday was, they're down 2 sets. And you're going, well, I guess this is, this number 1 ranking will be short-lived. And, there's no shame in losing to Kentucky, but boy, you sure want them to play better. And, Coach Buston Kelly changed it up. Wasn't afraid to put the other people in there. And that's a match that, you love to win that. That's an incredible win. But it's going to serve them well having, she's going to know now because she's been trying to figure out who to play. And so that was another piece of the whole puzzle, but who could help. And so maybe it makes it more complicated. But it was just, knowing that you have that kind of bench. And that's sort of a difference between volleyball and football right now, right? I don't know that Rule had the kind of bench to lean on in that game that Danny does. So, I know they don't. But again, might be 2 different games where we go, if they play this right, those games will help.
I'm with you on the benches, Tom, because I think for Danny Busboom Kelly, it's a luxury and something that she can feel comfortable doing, and fans aren't going to second guess her because we know that Nebraska volleyball consistently recruits not just at the top of the Big Ten Conference, but at the top of the entire sport. I mean, maybe the best recruiting program in modern college volleyball. So when Danny Busboom Kelly goes to her bench, it's, she's spoiled with all the options that she has. Where if Matt Rule was to go to a, 3rd or 4th stringer, fans would question the move as desperation. What is he doing? Even if it works, Matt Rule pulled this, lever. Oh, he got lucky. Danny Busboom Kelly made that move. oh, she's a genius. Look at the, look how spoiled rotten she is with all that talent on the bench. I mean, Nebraska football certainly, needs to get there, but it's also harder to do with a 105-player roster and in football where Nebraska's at compared to Nebraska volleyball, who can basically just handpick the talent at once and said, hey, we're Nebraska, you want in? And people are more likely to say yes than no.
Yeah, I think Nebraska volleyball is very unique. Most sports in this day and age, you don't have the kind of depth. A lot of these people used to stockpile players. When our players won't be stockpiled, they'll be leaving. They'll be looking at money. It's harder to do it in college football now. And the Nebraska volleyball, these great players just want to be there. They just want to be. They just want to be part of it. And so, and Nebraska football is still developing depth. They're trying to retain players with the NIL and revenue sharing. They're trying to, and all the things, the bells and whistles, and that they have in the football complex. They're trying to get people to stay and develop. So, it's still a process. They don't have the kind of depth. I mean, you talk about, running back. Well, don't even mention, what might happen to the quarterback. If that ever, we don't want to think about that. So, I mean, yeah, they're just at a different place right now, which we already knew. I just thought it was sort of interesting to see, the end tonight where, Emma Johnson. What again? You have a running back like him, I think could be an all Big Ten caliber guy. You play him, you run him, and you don't worry about him getting worn out. That's what running backs do. Now, it'd be nice to have a second team guy play once in a while, but in a big game like that, you don't know what you got in a big game like that. And sometimes these things, Austin, I've been around enough coaches who try to beat me over the head with their knowledge, and sometimes I'm smart enough to figure it out, and a lot of times I'm not. But what I've heard over the years, and I used to watch game film with Mel Tenneper and Charlie McBride once a week in Omaha, and I would see stuff that I had no idea that happened. And a lot of times these things that you think are bad plays because the guy ran the wrong way. He didn't know where to go. He didn't know this was going to he heard the play call or the check, and he went the wrong way when he should have went this way. Or, a quarterback got sacked because somebody on the outside missed the block, and some other guy had to go help, and that resulted in a sack. So, I was just to hear Milt, yell and scream at the receivers for not blocking. He yell at him, cuss at him. It was kind of funny. But I learned a lot that one wrong move can cause everything to break down. So, again, football's a game of mistakes, and college football is. And I'm interested to see the North Carolina Tar Heels tonight because Bill Belichick is not a man who tolerates mistakes. And now he's in a game where, the kids are being paid now, but they're still kids. They're not professionals, and they're going to make mistakes. And, how patient will he be? And I'm also wondering, are these guys how are they going to take tough love from him? Are they going to be coached hard? To me, the whole thing, I did it again. What was the question?
I don't know, but we got to go to break. So how about I think of another one? We'll wrap up the show after this. He's Tom Shatel. I'm Austin Norman. This is what you get on the Husker Football Hour Monday nights at 6. One more segment right after this.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska insider today.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant. When only the best will do.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back for one final segment here on the Husker Football Hour. Austin Norman and Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald joining us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Plenty still to get to. Tom, we do have a question from our text line for you. Derek in a car says, congratulations on your anniversary at the World Herald. He also wants to know, should Husker fans be worried about putting out an APB for the Dana Holgorsen offense, or is it too early for concern?
Well, I don't know what that offense is. I mean, he says he got thrown out of the air raid club. So I think he's in a different league now. He's never been in the Big Ten. And he where did he go last year? He went to USC. So that was kind of his deal. Of course, he just took over. And then he went to Iowa City, which was like the North Pole. I played in the North Pole that night. he had one receiver wide open and dropped the pass. So I think he's trying to figure out that he needs to do a little more smash mouth. And I think we're all here for it, aren't we? But it's I think that offense is going to evolve. I think he's evolving, and I think we don't know what that offense is. That's a great question. What is the Dana Holgorsen offense? And I don't think what he's done in the past, in the wide open plains of Texas and Oklahoma, Lubbock, Stillwater, and then Houston, of course West Virginia too. But I think he's got a little different identity. I think he's got in mind here. I think he's grown as a coach. Of course, nobody complained last year when he lined up on the goal line instead of going 4 wide with the empty backfield, like some other Nebraska coaches we've seen over the years on the goal line. And no names mentioned, but he put Ty Robinson at fullback. Well, what did we see last weekend? We saw another defensive guy at fullback. So I kind of like this Holgorsen, but yeah, he's going to throw it. But I'm still looking for the wrinkle. There's going to be a wrinkle, I think. And Dylan running was going to be the wrinkle that I was expecting this year, and maybe the opportunity wasn't there yet. We can't put too much on one game. We just can't. But by game 3 or 4, we ought to know a lot about this offense, I think. So, and nothing tells you about a team like a big game. That's when you find out what the coaches trust, what they're all about, what they think is going to work. And so I think the next one, which will unveil this identity and this team, will be Michigan in a few weeks. So, but yeah, I think that's a great question. Where is he? Well, he's maybe not the guy we've seen before. So, but I like this guy because he's a smart guy and he's a coach who's going to change with the situation and the personnel. He's not going to try to fit something into he's not going to try to shoehorn something in that doesn't work because that's how I always do it. No, he's going to try to do something that's going to work for the situation. So interesting, but I mean, he's got a quarterback who throws it. He's got receivers. I mean, there's tight ends. That's not going to be a problem. They're going to throw it, but he's going to run it too, and maybe use the run to set up the throw, or who knows? Maybe he can also spread it out and run it out of the spread. So I think there's a lot of options there, but. We can't do anything. We can't really have any identity or any kind of offense without an offensive line. So they've got to get that sorted out. I like that offensive line. I think it's going to be pretty good. It's got to get better.
And luckily, Tom, looks like the rain is going to come before Akron comes to town instead of once they actually get to town this week. So talk about not putting too much on one game. Oh. I doubt that we're going to be able to put too much on this Akron game for Matt Rule like we were the previous administration.
Wow. Well, where's Terry Bowden, by the way?
Great question.
He's still driving to the airport. What a crazy night. I remember that night we were the whole state was abuzz. Scott Frost is back, and it's all going to be different. And Adrian Martinez is going to come out, and he's going to show us what he's got. And I forget, talking to that night, Tim Brando was doing the broadcast, and I remember interviewing him before the game, and he's saying Scott Frost is going to be the next Nick Saban, and it was just on and on and on. And then, I mean, it was like the first error of the year was not playing that game in the afternoon. And I'm sure Fox didn't want it, but they should have just said, look, but of course, nobody knew was going to be a monsoon/hurricane for like 3 or 4 hours. And usually in Nebraska, those things blow through. They don't usually hang around.
Yeah, no, that one hung around. That one made itself right at home.
It kept coming in like fastballs. Well, okay, we survived that one. Here comes another one with more lightning and more wind and more rain, and it just. I've never seen anything. I still have never seen anything like that ever. I mean, usually you get a blast and then it's gone. This kept going. So I was wondering, could they play the next day? Well, Akron had no interest in that. It's just, that was 18.
Yeah.
We weren't even. We were still 2 years away from the real weird stuff. So. Empty stadiums and weird days, but yeah, that was that'll go down as they played the opener against Colorado the next week, and that didn't go very well either. So who knows if they'd have had that game? I don't know. People say, well, it all would have been different. Yeah, not really, because it never got better. Having one game washed out shouldn't mean you don't win the next year or the year after that. And I think COVID probably hurt them as well. And but everybody had to deal with that. There was a lot of issues that came out with that coaching staff and the whole thing. And it's just, not really knowing the Big Ten or not really having a plan to win in the Big Ten. And I feel like that's sort of been Nebraska's bugaboo ever since they joined the Big Ten, where they have not understood it or really had a plan to win in the Big Ten. And I think now they finally do. And of course, the Big Ten's changing, so but right on time. So it's weird, it's crazy, but yeah, the name Akron will live forever.
6:30, Nebraska-Akron, round 2. We'll be there, Tom. We will see you tomorrow, though, at the Dana Holgerson John Butler press conference. Thanks, as always, for the hour, good sir.
All right. Thanks, Austin. See you next week.
That's Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald with us here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Getting out of the way, more Ticket Weekends comes your way right after this. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.